Function with Purpose podcast. All things health, wellness, fitness, and education through the physical therapy perspective. I am Dr. Amy Bullock, owner and founder of Fortress Physical Therapy. Fortress PT is here to serve the Charlotte metro area by highlighting the importance of how and why physical therapy should be a part of your health and wellness lifestyle. Here we go. Welcome to Season 11, Episode 7 of the Function with Purpose podcast. I hate to break it to you, but I think it may be time to break up. Yes. No hard feelings, but it might be time. Break up with what, Dr. Amy? Well, I think it might be time to break up with certain movements in the gym. Or, two coins here, since this is a physio podcast, with your physiotherapist. It might be time to break up. First, we're going to talk about the gym. I'm not saying that it might be time to break up with certain movements to make it be an end-all be-all. But I think it's probably going to be time to break up that mindset of, should I be doing this? I want to do this. Let me just see what I can handle. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I haven't really been training this. But let me see what it feels like within a competition. Wait a minute. Oh shit. That didn't feel good. My arm is about to fall off. Yeah. So, it might be time to break up certain movements that are higher capacity, that are pretty higher skilled, that perhaps might not even be serving you in this season or perhaps the future. And you know what? That's okay. That is totally okay. And I've witnessed this. I've witnessed this with some personal athletes. And I've also witnessed this with some patients in a good way. We'll talk about the physiotherapy aspect after I kind of talk about this movement breakup. So, we are the general public. We are the novice athlete. We are people who want to stay fit in order to expand our lifespan, expand our longevity, be more robust humans, experience less sickness and disease, but experience more fitness, endurance, movement, mobility, even maybe some competitions, right? Hiking, traveling, right? So being the general public, there needs to stem this foundation of human movement, right? But in particular, there might be moments in time that you might be like, oh, I'm going to try this bar muscle up. I'm in a competition right now, a fun competition. I haven't done a bar muscle up, gosh, probably in over a year or two. And this workout calls for 30 of them. I'm going to frickin' do it. I'm going to do it. My body's feeling good. I'm warmed up. I'm going to do it. But in reality, it's probably not in your best interest to even attempt them or to do all 30. Because you haven't even been training them. You have not even built the good movement pattern for the bar muscle up. So when you're in this fun competition, what makes you think that, let me just see what I can do. I don't know, my adrenaline's going. You're basing things off of non-existing previous experience of you performing 30 bar muscle ups, let alone even 10. But you're like, I'm going to do it. My adrenaline, I'm doing it. Guess what? You're probably most likely going to get injured. And guess what? That's what happened. You're down. You're out for the count. Man. It's so hard to witness something like that. Not only being a healthcare provider, physiotherapist, but then I see some athletes in passing, and I'm like, where have you been? I haven't seen you in class. Or, hey, what's been going on? Have you been traveling? And, the response is, yeah, I almost tore my arm off in this competition, this fun competition that I entered in 3 months ago, and I'm still trying to recover from it. I got an MRI and all this stuff, and I'm like, what? Like, I had no idea. Like, you could have reached out, okay. Like, what are you doing for it right now? I'm just resting. I'm staying away from the gym. This is the most opportune time for you to stay in the gym and use the gym as your rehab facility. Or, hey, guess what? You're talking to a physio. I could help. Maybe, or if I'm not the person, I can maybe try to direct you to someone. So you can get back in the game again. So, and I can see, I can totally vouch for being in that patient or athlete's position. Man, there's these bar muscle ups. I started learning them a year ago, and man, I'm just feeling great in the moment, and I'm just going to do it. I'm going to try it. And you haven't even built capacity to lead up to that many bar muscle ups, but you're just going to wing it? I was in that realm. I was in that mindset before. And when I would do something like that, I quote unquote failed, right? I might have got a couple bar muscle ups, but I couldn't do it. Didn't have it in me, or my hand ripped. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do it with a ripped hand. Like, the reward is not worth it. The risk is too high. So, it's hard. It's frustrating as an outsider looking and hearing about this. It's also, I get it. We have this internal dialogue. We have this internal bias that, well, shit, I've been fitnessing for several years. Now there's a difference between training versus exercise. I've been exercising for several years. I can do this. Totally in this fun competition. But honestly, you don't even have the ticket to walk through that door and do it and experience it, because you haven't even been training it. Have you? Because if you have, you would have been at the gym staying after class or before class doing these little non-sexy movements of what I would prescribe via PT and mimic the movement pattern. I didn't see people in there doing that. Or they didn't say that to me when I was interacting with them, right? So it might be time to just break up. It's okay. It's okay to break up from the bar muscle up. The actual bar muscle up. Maybe that particular movement, unassisted bar muscle ups. Maybe you just need to do a scaled version of that. And it's okay to be on that scaled, quote unquote, scaled version. Guess what? It's more safe. You'll build confidence. You'll have a stronger mindset going into a future workout that might have bar muscle ups in it. But in the meantime, it might be in your best interest to break up. So, I'm a little heated on this, and I think it happens too often, too fast for the novice person. Even though people might be exercising for 10 years, that there's a difference between exercising and movement versus training and being mindful, being a thinking athlete with the movement, right? How can I tweak this here in this position with my knee fully flexed, knee over toe, ankle dorsiflex, full hip depth? Can I do 10 strict chest to bar pull-ups with confidence, with a tempo? Well, guess what? That's going to translate it over to the bar muscle up. Can I keep doing that? Can I get some frequent touches on that? Ooh, my arm's a little tweaked. Maybe I should get in for PT and stay with that. Build the capacity. Continue to build it. Maybe I spread out my physiotherapy visits. Instead of coming in once every other week, maybe it's a month. And then maybe it's once every 6 weeks or 8 weeks. Because guess what? In between those visits, you're doing the work. You're doing the prereqs to get you to the next level or to take you to a newer capacity, right? So this flips me over to the physiotherapy aspect. You work with patients. I've worked, oh my gosh, my first patient ever, bless her, Kim, love you. Hopefully you're going to listen to this. Gosh, I started working with her in 2017-ish and worked with her up until the end of 2023 because she actually relocated from Charlotte, North Carolina to Monroe. So let's see, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 6 years. 6 years I was with Kim. 6 years we worked on a lot of manual therapy. 6 years we worked on things that she can do around her house to help her be a little bit more pain-free, to be a little bit more stable in her hips, to maybe add some assistance and get some compression with a knee sleeve when she's working out. To find these little ways in order for her to keep moving. Well, unfortunately, we had to break up. Kim and I broke up. But Kim and I broke up physically, right? From the physiotherapy point of view, that she doesn't come in and receive physical therapy treatment from me, but I pass the baton over to her for a colleague that lives and that works next to where kind of Kim lives. Same mindset, same kind of approach to physiotherapy, that kind of like fitness forward, CrossFit methodology, lifespan longevity approach. And I know she's in good hands. And Kim's like, yes, totally, gonna see it. Gonna go see Dr. So-and-so. I appreciate your recommendation. But I'm still gonna stay in touch with you. Oh yeah, for sure. Sometimes you do break up with your patients from the physiotherapy perspective. And usually, and it should be in a good way. That was a prime example. Another prime example of breaking up is, I remember this one patient, he came to me for low back pain, I think it was like right hip pain issues. He was a golfer, avid golfer, in his mid-late 30s, not as active as he would like to have been at that moment in time, and started working with him. Every visit, we unpeeled or we peeled back a layer. Okay, how's the back doing? It's better. The hip is much better. Okay, golfing, when you're at the tee and you're practicing hitting some of the golf balls on the range, what club are you using, right? Because a driver, you're usually going to put a little more oomph behind it, right? As opposed to like a sand wedge or a chipping wedge, right? He's like, yeah, I've been using some sand wedge. Been using like my 7-iron and a little bit of the 9. Haven't touched the driver. Okay, cool. All right, today we're going to work on some rotation patterns. Okay, great. And slowly over time, we started working together. We were doing some remote training programming, and we were building better foundations for him so he can partake and participate in more golf outings, to play 18 holes without back or hip issues. We were looking at his golf swing. Now, I'm not an avid golfer, but I do have a basic idea of what a golf swing should look like. I've played before. I've taken lessons in the past for myself. But taking video of him from the front and side and the back. All right, slow it down. Are you opening your hip a little too much? Are you not getting a lot of hip shift on the backswing? Are you keeping your front arm straight and taut? Are we rotating too early? That hip. Okay, let's test out your balance. So we continued to build and build and build. And his remote training, we were sprinkling in some more aerobic type fitness, right? He needed that. You need that for golf. Then he started picking up running. Hey, I want to train for this trail, this 20-mile or this 15-miler trail run. Oh, he let me know like 9, 12 months in advance. Okay, we got to start prepping for that. Single leg work, some balance, some ankle stuff. It was all about communication. So as we worked together, in this case with this patient, he became more confident, more competent. He was able to navigate things at work in order to implement fitness in his routine, because he was kind of stuck. He was like, I just don't know when I'm going to work out. I have no idea. So we talked about it. Okay, midday. Are you able to take a longer lunch break, go to the YMCA, bring some intensity with your lifting, do a little bit of conditioning, and then get back to work? Yeah, I think I am a midday exerciser. Great, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Awesome, cool. All right. You know what, Aim? I think let's hold off on some programming. I think I'm feeling pretty good. Let me do some PT sessions once, twice a month, or once every 6 weeks, and see what happens. So guess what? The leash with physiotherapy with me was getting longer, because he was feeling more confident. He was developing more consistency outside of physiotherapy. He and his family would go on trips and go hiking and camp. He's like, you know what? We brought our mountain bikes. We went mountain biking. Oh my God, dude, that's awesome. Well, then he comes in for his last visit and he's like, hey, I think it's me. I think it's time for us to break up. I think I can do this on my own. You've been awesome. I appreciate it. All right, man. Like, this is what I want to hear. It's okay to break up temporarily with your physiotherapist, because you now have the baton. You have the baton because you have taken control of your lifestyle. You've incorporated better habits. You've substituted, quote unquote, bad habits that aren't serving you for better habits that will and are serving you to get you where you want to be. Because we're the general public. We're novice people. We're athletes to some extent, right? Even though we quit competitive basketball or competitive golfing, we are still athletes. We're athletes of human nature, right? So I understood. I said, you know what? This is great. I'm cool to break up. I'm totally cool to break up. And from the physiotherapy perspective, We had an awesome communication realm, chain, how you feeling, remote programming outside of PT. Yeah, we sprinkle in some physio type lower threshold movements, and then we combine that with heavy deadlifts or squats, and then we add a little bit of aerobic training, some interval stuff. Then he wanted to take on a trail run. Okay, we're switching the programming up. This is what we're going to do, X, Y, Z. Hit it 3 times a day, go on for your long runs, hit a trail run on the weekend. All right. And that truly, if you're going to break up or take a break from your physio, that is like the ultimate perfect picture, both from Kim, the example I gave, and this particular patient, shout out Justin. That is how physiotherapy timeline should and can be. Right? You're helping the patient gain their confidence back. We should not have the drive or the mentality to, unfortunately, be like our parents. For those who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, we look at our parents are 50s, 60s, 70s. I mean, they didn't grow up in a world of like fitness or health and wellness, fitness recovery, right? Like, things have changed, and it should, right? It should evolve. So we need to break up with that mindset and start changing it. And have that mindset that it's okay to reach out for help. And then you have the help for so long until your confidence and competence improves and your mindset has shifted for the better. It might be time to break up, and that's okay. Of course, I don't want to break up with any of my patients. I love to see them all the time. I love to see the same people over and over and over and over and over. In Kim's case, 6-7 years of working together. Because that's where it's at. That is where the consistency is. That is where the accountability is. So, we have I think it might be time to break up with certain movements in the gym. The example I used is like a bar muscle up or even a snatch, a barbell snatch. Usually those are or handstand push-ups of some sort or handstand walking. Those are a little bit in the CrossFit methodology per se that are pretty high capacity movements. And then the ring muscle up as well. Even pistol squats, single leg squats. Me personally, I in particular stay away from that. We can talk about that at another time. But it's okay to break up with certain movements in the gym because there's always other ways to train around or hit a different aspect of that particular movement pattern with something else that will better serve you, will keep you safer, will help you build confidence. And then maybe later on, when you have the capacity and confidence, you might sprinkle that movement back in. Maybe you'll get back to it. Who knows? We don't know. Right? And then from the physiotherapy perspective, you're working with your physiotherapist, you're building the rapport, you're building the accountability. The PT has most of the baton, but then it switches. Maybe the atmosphere is that patient moves, right? Well, then you have to help them continue that movement where they are. Find a physio that's local to them, that can relay the baton for them. And then you have Justin, my golfer, that he just needed that accountability, that guidance, that trust, that he can take control again. And he did. So, knowing when it may be time to break up for a little bit, and that it's okay. With certain movements in the gym, knowing the risk versus reward, and then with the physiotherapist, knowing when you feel confident and competent in both environments. It's okay, and it might be time to break up. And it's okay, because you need to do you, and we are the general public. We are humans, and our goal, I don't know about you, I want to create longevity and expand my lifespan, expand my health span. And certain people are going to be in and out of that season and time each year. That's a wrap for today's episode, Function with Purpose Podcast. For more information on this episode, please check out the show notes within your podcast app. Be sure to subscribe, like, share, or drop your comments and questions below. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Thanks for the listen. Pursuit, precision, purpose.